What's up guys, my name is Liam and today we're going to be taking a look at the Tenta-X 3XL Speed Gaming Desk Mat. I've been having people reaching out to me asking me to show some love to the desk mat gaming community. So with that being said, is this going to be the perfect gaming desk mat for you? Let's check it out. Alright guys, so before we get started, I did want to let you know that Tenta-X did actually send this out to me, so thank you guys very much for that. However, with that being said, they didn't tell me anything to say in this video, so everything that you're going to be hearing will be my own words and my truthful, honest opinions. And all you're looking at here on the camera is just this never-ending black background because this desk mat is so big. It comes in at 120 centimeters in width, 60 centimeters in height, and it sits at 3 millimeters in thickness. The base consists of this rubberized anti-slip backing, and they do claim it is a odorless rubber. Just like all desk mats that I received, it does have a strong rubber smell once you get out of the box, but the longer you leave it sitting out of the box, that scent does start to go away. They use an anti-fray stitching all the way around the edges. It does stick up slightly above the base itself. However, with this mouse pad being so big, I do pull the edges down to the very edge of my desk. So I didn't have any issues with it once I actually moved forward and sit up and started using it. And with the thickness sitting at 3 millimeters with the rubberized base, it does feel more like a mid-style pad. You can slightly push into it, but it does feel more firm than it does plush. The surface consists of a microwoven fabric. They did use a water-resistant coating on top of the surface, so if you have any issues with spilling your drinks or anything like that on top of your mouse pad, it shouldn't be too big of an issue. And when it comes to the performance, this pad offers a really smooth glide and it has some pretty decent control properties to it. The speed on the X and Y axis, they feel pretty similar to one another, but I'll go ahead and I'll drop a speed comparison between the X and the Y axis here for you really quick. I wouldn't say this pad gives you a whole lot of stopping power, but I do feel like the hybrid pads that I compared against in the same type of a range, it does have a little bit better stopping characteristics than those style of pads. And as you're going back and forth and tracking on this surface or making the micro adjustments, you do have a little bit more of a sense of control, and you do feel a little light bit of muddiness there, but nothing that's too extreme. And when trying a bunch of different types of skates out on the surface of this mouse pad, I do feel like with these smaller corner skates, you do feel a little bit more of feedback of the weave in the mouse itself when you're gliding across the surface and pushing into it, but it's nothing major, and I feel like they perform really smooth across the surface. And the same thing goes for dot skates. I do feel like dot skates, they do perform a little bit quicker on here. You do get a little bit less of control and stopping power when you're doing the micro adjustments, but you do have a really smooth glide. And again, you can kind of feel the weave of the pad a little bit more when you're using the smaller desk skates. I also do feel like that the glass skates and the sapphire skates have actually been performing really well on this pad. I feel like recently they've been really muddy on some of the other things that I've been using, but they do give you a little bit less initial static friction and a little bit of a smoother glide over the PTFE skates. And the performance between these two, I do feel like the sapphire skates are performing just a little bit quicker due to the glass skates, but that could be just due to the humidity. I do feel like the bigger style skates, they do feel just a little bit smoother on top of this pad, and they can give you a little bit better control properties and stopping power overall. But I have really been enjoying the performance of these Tiger Ice skates on top of the surface. And when comparing the Tenta-X 3XL to the Aqua Control Plus, the performance between these pads is not very similar. I do feel like the Aqua Control Plus is a bit slower than the Tenta-X, but when it comes to the actual control and stopping power properties between these two, I do feel like they're pretty similar to one another. And when you're pushing into the pad, I do feel like the Aqua Control Plus does have a little bit more of a muddier feeling, does have a bit more of a harsher texture on the surface, and the Tenta-X just feels, again, a little bit smoother, more similar to something like a traditional cloth pad. So if you do have any experience with the Aqua Control Plus and you're looking for something a little bit faster with pretty similar control characteristics, then the Tenta-X could be a good option for you. Next up, we'll be comparing the Tenta-X to the Lethal Gaming Gear Mercury. Same thing kind of applies when you're talking about the differences of the texture of both of these surfaces. The Mercury does feel like it has more of an abrasive and more aggressively textured surface compared to the Tenta-X. When it comes to the speed on the X axis, the speed on these both feel practically identical. The one difference, however, is I do feel like the speed on the Y axis on the Tenta-X, it does feel a bit faster over the Mercury. The Mercury definitely has a faster X-axis, but then it does offer a slower Y-axis. And when it comes to the Mercury, making those micro adjustments or the stopping power, I feel like the Mercury has way less stopping power and it doesn't really have as much control or friction when you're trying to do the micro adjustments. And to end things off, let's go ahead and throw up these glide comparisons on both the X and Y axis between both of these pads. All right guys, so that's my final thoughts on the Tenta-X 3XL gaming desk mat. I do feel like this desk mat does offer really good performance and I was enjoying using it while in game. The fact that it has ready availability on Amazon, and if you do have a Prime account, you can also get free shipping on top of that as well. I do feel like this does come in at a pretty good deal, especially with the amount of real estate that you get. All right guys, so if you have any questions or feel like there's anything that I left out, please let me know down in the comments below. If you have enjoyed watching this video and you're interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I also left an affiliate link down in the description below to check this pad out if you're interested in supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.